Hello and welcome to Dovers with Chinwekalu. We're glad to be here once again. And we had last week a very interesting guest in the house and she's still with us. It's going to be a 3-part series. So the last week was the first one, the second one, and we're having a third one. So look out for us. But Dionne has been in the house. Dionne, thank you for your patience, for being with us. Okay. And we are talking with Dionne concerning a divorce she went through about 10 years ago. Painful, but she's willing to talk about it. So Dionne, thanks again for being here with us. Okay. So Dionne, let's move quickly into the main gist. Okay. Now, what do you think your husband, can you enumerate some of the things that your husband had against you, your ex had against you?
Okay, the most important one that he used to say often was that I emasculated him. Now, what that means is that I made him feel like less of a man. I'm not an abusive person, I still aren't. I don't know how to do your stupid, foolish everything. I think it's rude for people to talk to other people. I wasn't raised in a barn. So what he said was that I was too, he used to say it was like living in the house with a man. I was too logical. He needed somebody that was really soft. But when he met me, I'm not a soft, girly woman.
And you've never really been?
Yes, I think, I dare say he bought most of the dresses I wore as a sissy. I used to wear trousers, shorts. I climbed trees with my kids till today. You know, so I didn't understand what he wanted me to do. I would serve him. I would pay attention to him particularly in a way that I was sure that an African wife should do. But he still said I emasculated him. So sometimes we'll be having an argument and he'll say, you think you're smarter than me? And I'll say, no, we have different skills. I'm different from you. Maybe I had more of the masculine skills, but my father beats independence into me. So I learned to be independent early and I'm training my children the same way. So he said that. Then he said, oh, when he married me, I was a size 10. So with each child, I became one size bigger. So it now became a challenge. You are fat and ugly. And that thing destroyed me.
Wow. Fat and ugly?
Yes, I couldn't take off my clothes in the same room with him.
Wow.
I would go into the bathroom to take off my clothes. If we had to be intimate, I would have the lights off.
Wow.
Because I couldn't look at my own body. But I had 4 children. And it took the divorce for me to feel sexy again. And that's wrong. Your spouse is supposed to give you that oomph.
Yes.
So I walk into a room now and I take it with me. And I like the feeling.
And it's not like you are...
No, I'm not. I'm the same size I was. I'm size 16. You know, and I liked being a little bit bigger because when I married, I was a 32A. Men may not know what that is, but women know. As I began to have children, I got a rack up here. And I like my rack weights because when you start to lose weight, it goes. So I wasn't having any of that lose weight business too much like that. Anyway, you know, but yeah. So he said, you know, I was fat. He wasn't attracted to me and blah, blah, blah. So I did what I could. I used to go to the gym. I would make meals that I couldn't eat. I would make meals for him and the children. And he would say, you can't eat that with us. Go and eat a salad. You know, so I would go to the room. I would cry. I used to wake up in the night. My night binging started from there. I would wake up in the night to eat something quickly because I was hungry. I didn't want him to catch me. So, yeah, so he said those words. And then he said he would tell people that she was rude. So some men would look at him and say, every woman is rude. Maybe a tone or whatever. Yeah. So why is your wife any different? Talk to you with a sharp tone. Those are the things that he said, actually. So I wouldn't know any difference.
So I'm wondering, is that a sign of something not right, you know?
When a man tells you you emasculate him, I used to say to my ex, I can't help you with that. It's like when I say to him, he makes me feel insecure. 90% of that is my responsibility.
Yes.
Nobody can make you do a particular thing. I was on a show where I think Toke Makinwa's husband was on it. And we teased him that you made your wife bleach her skin, according to the book. He turned to us and said, you're all grown women. Can you make a grown woman do
what she doesn't
as
want to do?
fundamental as that? And we all felt a bit stupid. Yeah, because it's true. So I used to say to him, I can't help you with your insecurities. I've done everything to make you comfortable as a man.
Yeah.
I didn't take a career because I wanted my husband to know he was in charge. So I used to say, when we used to have people over to counsel and everything, and I used to say, I made my ex my career. It was a conscious decision. Because of those insecurities, I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to work for you. I didn't get paid one day. I'm going to work for you. Everything that you are going to become as a man became my career. I told God that's what I wanted to do. So I deliberately did that. So he'd feel better about himself. But it still didn't work. So it's a function of what he needed to do on the inside. I couldn't help him with it. It's something that only God and counsel gives you. But it's not something your spouse can give you. You have to deal with that. Especially when they're going through a midlife crisis.
Okay, there's that too.
There's that.
Midlife crisis kind of throws them out of whack.
Totally. But women also go through a midlife crisis. It's just not as pronounced.
Yes.
Yes. But when they do that, they start questioning everything about themselves. But they have to remember who they are. Aside from their careers, aside from their businesses, aside from their children, who are you as a person?
Yes, so critical.
It's very important. Because all the other things are roles.
They are roles and they end.
Yes, and they end.
So when they end, you've had a crisis because...
Exactly. I had my children taken away from me, so I was no longer a mother.
Ooh.
It left a big space. So I had to, quickly decide, who am I? Because I wasn't a wife, and I wasn't a mother anymore.
And you had been a wife and a mother for a while.
I had been only a wife and a mother. I had forgotten who I was. So I had to discover again who I was and live as Dionne. Yes.
And not Mrs.
Yes.
Somebody.
So I think a lot of men don't have that. Two women sit down. You and I can sit down in a church or in a supermarket and get to know each other in 15 minutes. Their husband's name, how many children they have, their first boyfriend. Two men, hi, so what do you do? I'm a chartered accountant. Okay, I'm a certified accountant. Then we have silence. Okay, that company, that deal, it's about business.
Yes. It's about
like they are non-people.
Who are just robots in businesses.
Yeah. So, sometimes when I see men do that now, I want to knock their heads together.
Yes.
Can you people ask each other something personal?
Yes. How's your family? Yes. Where's your wife?
That's the naked and unashamed part of human nature. Be vulnerable. If the person chooses to hurt you, the person is the person that's wrong, not you.
Yes.
The fact that you could show your vulnerability is a piece of strength.
Yes. And that's what men need to know.
Yes, if you can be vulnerable, you're a strong man. I wouldn't date a man that can't be vulnerable now. He will irritate me. I don't need to see that thing where you do that thing you do with men. It's not nice.
Let's talk to the men because, a lot of the time men, in a divorce situation, men, I don't know how men process divorce, but what do you think could be different so that we don't have the kind of men who feel emasculated by their wives? Women are raised to be strong. We wake up in the morning, they tell us, do this, do that. We take responsibility. That makes us strong. And then you get married and your man can't handle the fact that you are strong. What can we do to make men, not be this way?
You can pray.
Pray when you marry one,
yes. Before you marry them. And then you can watch for the signs. A self-confident man will not go that far off. He'll be a bit insecure, but he won't go that far off. An insecure man is not going to get more secure simply because you say so.
You have to do something.
You have to do something about it. So if he needs to get some help or whatever before he becomes a husband, because a husband spiritually is a covering.
Yes.
And even my driver, I say to him, please don't let me yell at you. Don't offend me enough to yell at you. When I talk to he and his wife, I say, if I yell at him, it shreds his self-esteem.
Yes.
So it's like taking an umbrella and putting holes in it. Rain go beat him, go beat him wife.
That's true.
So I'm also doing her and the children a disservice.
Yes.
So I'm very careful the way I speak to men. Regardless of their age, even my son, I make sure that I speak to raise. So with men, if you don't get that validation from your mother, from your home as you're growing, your wife will give you. But you have to reach on the inside of yourself and ask myself, who am I? What am I here for? When you discover that, you now understand your role as a husband. I'm a covering. What do I need to do to be a covering? I need to protect my wife. I need to protect her from my family. I need to protect her financially. I need to protect her spiritually. I need to pray for her. If my ex prayed for me, there was once we had a family occasion and we were traveling. And I dreamt that we had had an accident. And apparently I was speaking in tongues from my sleep. So he shocked me. I went, what is it now? You're disturbing me. I said, this happened. He said, okay. I said, can you pray for me? He said, if I pray, you sleep. He prayed for about 5 minutes. I slept till noon. I used to tell him, if I prayed for 4 hours and he prayed for 40 minutes, the strength in his 40 minutes, because it's his role.
Yes. The spiritual backing is there.
It is his role. He's a spiritual covering of the home. When women try and feel that, we sleep in all these churches.
Yes.
Talking, we're wasting our time.
Until men rise up.
It is not our role. So God is not dialoguing with you. When he got to the Garden of Eden, he asked Adam. He didn't ask Eve any question.
True.
He knew Eve had done the answering. He asked Adam, what did you do? When Sarah did everything she did, he asked Abraham. My wife gave me her maid to sleep with. Now, she says I should drive her. He says, do as she told you. Because is it not, you answered her before. Now, me and you had a discussion.
Yes.
God doesn't require any answers from us women.
True.
There's a part of the Bible, I think it's in, I'm going to try and remember. Either Malachi or Habakkuk. There's a part that says the women had become prostitutes and had committed adultery. And God said, I have to find the passage. I will not punish them because you men first went off with the temple prostitutes. He made the men responsible for the women's response to adultery. So what are we talking about here? Men need to sit up and grow up.
Yes.
Take responsibility for your role as a husband. Understand it.
What your role
when
is.
you have your weaknesses, we can pray alongside you. Young men and women will prophesy, will call those things that be not as though they were.
Yes.
But the vision was given to the men. Young men will have visions. It wasn't given to us. What is my business with the vision for the family? It's your job. Do it.
Yes, it's yours.
Yes, it's your job. Then, you know, when you write it down, we that read it will run with it.
Yes, and you make it clear all the time.
You make it clear.
Yes.
And you stick with it. Don't change the vision as we go along. Yes, we just do anyhow. Yes. Then we now, because
confused, yes.
Women, we become jittery.
Yes. And then we now attempt to take control.
Yes, we now say, this man a beggar, not fit a beggar. We are give me.
Yeah.
Then you now have a problem. She's being bossy. She has now gone and gotten a bank job. And she thinks I'm her flunky. Well, you didn't step up to the mark, young man.
Yes.
Get up.
Get up. Get up. I think that as believers, that the body should rise up and also give counsel. I think even when things go wrong, everybody focuses on the woman, you know, and it's like, be patient. Women have to be patient. We have to be patient. We have to. It's like we're the ones paying the price and carrying the burden for ensuring that the home succeeds. What do you think? Do you think that we should have meetings? I mean, is there any place in talking to the men and having, you know, the way they talk to us? I think, you know, what do you think? Do you think they should put sessions together for men as well?
They should. I don't know what went wrong with this generation. I say to my mom, my brother, I have one brother, there's 4 girls. He's a brat. When I go to his house, his wife is like a small miniature person. And she's flitting around like a butterfly. He comes and sits down and says, where's my food? And I turn around and think, if I beat you, you will get up.
You see my
little brother for 11 years. So I said to her, she leaves whatever she's doing. She's a cake decorator. She can make icing a cake. She will leave it and start running around. I said, so you don't do anything? She makes sure his clothes are clean. They're ironed. She will sweep the house. How?
This is 21st century, right?
But you see, that's how they were raised. My brother was pretty spoiled. So I think that, first and foremost, we should raise our sons differently.
Yes, that's another topic. Don't go
there. But I think with the men now, they have to decide for themselves that they will even attend these church programs. Because when they have these church programs, they're talking about business. One day I told them in the church in Ikeja, I said, come, Bia, these people are doing here. So they're talking about business. So they're not fathers and husbands. They're just businessmen. You know, it's networking. If a man has money, he can take a no. I would dare say, and I'm going to say this to the camera. Your wife, if you love her and treat her right, if there's mutual respect between both of you, she will sit in a gutter and eat grass with you.
Yes.
Women are very simple.
Very simple.
You know what they call mumu? You people know mumu reach us. Just love her. That's why the Bible says to love her. We become stupid. We will sit with no kobo. I will make it into a palace.
Yes.
That's what men don't understand.
That's what men don't understand.
This gathering of money is for their ego. Has nothing to do with us.
I remember that we had a session like that in church and we had about 800 men in attendance. And this time we're talking about relationships, marriages and all. And we even brought, I couldn't attend because I was a woman, but they brought in 2 women, a young girl and an older woman, to come and talk about relationship from our perspective, yes, with the men. And some of the young girls told the young boys who were there, like, look, the reason we go out and look for, men out there is because you guys are messing us up in-house. You're not looking out for us. You're not treating us properly. And so we go out and you actually expose us. And so we're exposed. We're let in the open because you guys are not here for us. And so it's important that men understand that in the marriage equation, it's not a woman's role to make a marriage work. It's a two-way thing. And in fact, you are the one who has instructions concerning the marriage, not even the woman. If you read scripture, you're the one who has instructions concerning marriage. You're the one who has instructions concerning parenting, looking after your children. But women are supposed to help you, and that's why they call us helpmates, right?
So, it's a partnership.
Yes.
Yes, we know that. And I have a 3-cup theory. I call men the blue cup. I call women the red cup because we're kind of interested. And then I call the union the yellow cup. When I counsel couples, I tell them, the union, the us, is not a bit of blue and a bit of red. That's the mistake with me.
Yes.
It's a separate being.
Totally so.
The us is like a child that you birth and you nurture.
Yes.
So you both have to do the work to make it grow. When one of you stops doing the work, putting in as much work as the other person,
it doesn't get done.
Your union dies.
Yes.
But we say a bit of you, a bit of you. It's not a bit of you, a bit of me. You remain separate individuals.
Yes.
But you birth a union. You birth an us.
Yes.
And you have to keep feeding it.
Yes.
So it can grow.
Yes. And that's what when they say the two become one flesh.
Yes.
You know, it's that birthing it and and
ensuring
working
that
on
it stays
it
alive.
and keeping it alive and making sure that it works, you know, and it keeps working. I believe that men we need to pay more attention to the men, you know, generally, you know, because if
who's the we?
I think the church, you know, the body, society, we kind of just let them be and expect them to know. Nobody tutors them. Nobody really tells them what to do.
How about asking for help? You see, we can't take responsibility for someone who says, I'm fine.
Okay.
Honey, what's the matter? I'm fine. Meanwhile, the office burns down. Then somebody phone, did you hear that in the office? Honey, what would you have been able to do about it? I can at least commiserate and
yes.
you know, I think men should talk more and then be willing to express.
We have been talking to the men. That's what today's episode has been about. We recognize that a lot of our men are ill-equipped really to be effective husbands. And so we have all these schisms. Unfortunately for someone like Dionne, her marriage actually ended. A lot of marriages are not ending in terms of the real sense of the word ending as in ending up in divorce courts. But a lot of marriages are not good marriages. They're not marriages where you find love thriving and things happening the way they ought to. And so we're trying to tell the men, this is what we think you can do that will make things a little better and you get along better with your wives. Dionne, thanks once again. This is, you know, now this is part 2 of what we have to say. We still have a third part. Thank you once again for joining us. We're still with Dionne next week. Don't forget, don't go away. Join us again then. Bye-bye.